A Monday matinee for the series finale in Cincinnati. Stephen Strasburg looks to finish off the 4-game sweep. Beautiful day for a boat ride on the Ohio. It's a Monday afternoon matinee. Better day for a ball game if you're following the Nats. These guys are hitting, they're pitching, they're playing very well, and going for a 4-game sweep here in Cincinnati. That's Ray, I'm Bob. It's been a fun weekend, and Ray, this offense has really been amazing. First of all, a couple of pitching notes. Doolittle and Madsen, they'll join the ball club tomorrow in Anaheim. Jacob Turner called up for today. But pitchers' lives easier because of the way this team's hitting.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You don't have a team any hotter than this ball club, as we've been able to stretch out and go deep early and often. Here, Bryce, a couple of home runs on Friday night, and just hammering the baseball. Everything just jumping out of the ballpark. Loud sounds. And then Rendon on Saturday, 2-run shot, left center field. Gets him on the board with the home runs, and then hanging breaking ball, grand slam, second of the season for him. 6 RBIs on the day, and not to be outdone, Murph, as he goes deep to right center field in the second row. It isn't how far you hit him, it's where you hit him, and if you get him over that wall out there, and then goes inside, pulls the ball right down the line, just inside the foul pole, as he hits his second home run on the day, and 5 for the ball club yesterday.
Yeah, red letter days indeed for the Nats. 5-1 against Cincinnati. Over 9 runs a game, over 340 the batting average, and 17 home runs in 6 games. Stephen Strasburg has been a road warrior for the Nats. 8 starts this year, 6-1 with a 2.61 ERA, and they're hitting just over 200 against him. The Strasburg Show on the road as the Nats look for the sweep in Cincinnati. PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City. Book now at OCOcean.com. Beautiful day over on Fountain Square. A little bit down the hill in downtown. Chris Spire gets the official greeting from Rosie Red. It's 86, humidity 51%, so not terribly stifling here. Intimate crowd gathering here in Cincinnati. And Daniel Murphy, 4 games of 5 RBIs or more this year. Murph is at 7 ribbies in this series. He's 5 out of 8. What else can we tell you? He's 3rd in the league in hits, 1st in batting average, and he's on a 7-game inning streak. So Scott Feldman has his hands full today. 4th career start against the Nats. 1-0 with a good 2.50 ERA for a couple of different clubs. And Ray, his repertoire starting with that fastball and the cutter.
Yeah, he doesn't throw as many fastballs, straight fastballs. He throws a lot of cutters, 70%, curveball and the changeup.
Underway with a strike to Brian Goodwin, who had a rough weekend here. Feldman making his 19th start, 7-6, 3.94 the ERA. Brian 1 for 13, couple of walks against the Reds, and that one's back out of play, 0-2 to start the game. The Nationals are hitting .279, 515 runs after another barrage yesterday, and they're 3rd in homers with 135. Ball 1 called by the 15-year veteran James Hoy, who has the plate. Will Little at first, the crew chief Jeff Kellogg at second, and at third Tim Timmons. There's the boss. Target away. And Goodwin to the gap in right center. Long run for Scott Schebler playing center field today. And Brian Goodwin gets the Nats off to a great start. He led off with a double Friday night in the 5-0 series opening win.
A little late on his swings last night. There's a ball away. They've been pitching him away the whole series, and he extends, drills that ball to right center field. Easy little stand-up double for him to get this thing started, get this party started.
That's what the Nats are trying to do, put some early pressure on the Reds. And the hits just keep on coming in this series. 38 hits in the first 3 games. Stephen Drew has 2 of those with an RBI. And Feldman trying to keep him from moving a runner, pitching away and missing. Stephen .294 his last 23 games, and it's not exactly getting 4 at bats every time. A lot of that part-time duty, sometimes pinch hitting. Very productive since coming back from his hamstring, and Feldman misses out there again.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown a pitch inside yet. Stephen's going to be setting on a pitch middle end right here, 2-0 count. He knows that his objective is to get the ball to the right side. He pulls the ball pretty much at will.
Good career numbers against Feldman for Drew. He's 7 for 16. That's a good pitch to the outer half.
It's been kind of interesting to watch how these Cincinnati Reds catchers set up behind the home plate. They seem to put the plate right on the edge of the inside shin guard. Watch how he'll shift out here if he's going away.
Barnhart's going to jump inside, and Drew's going to drop one into left field. Goodwin stopping at third. Just like that, a corner situation for the Nationals. And now Goodwin and Drew have set the table for the big guns coming up.
But he got the ball away. He wanted it inside. It was a slider, and he got it away, and that's right where Drew has seen every pitch, so it looks good to him. His body is kind of set up to go that way, even though you would want to pull the ball. When they don't give you a pitch to pull, the best thing to do is just hit it where it's pitched. Right, bud?
Yes, sir. And here's Harper. Bryce 5 for 14, actually 5 for 13 in this series. He's hit it out twice, driven in 4. And a double off the wall in the 8th inning yesterday kept his hitting streak alive. Now at 11 games, 18 for 43. Cincinnati, 4th rated defense in the league. Adam Duvall is in left field with 7 assists. Zach COZART at short, up the middle with Jose Peraza. And you might note that Scott Schebler's in center. Billy Hamilton has a day off, and Zach COZART's having an amazing season with the bat. 0-1 to Harper, looking for RBI number 70 or more upstairs. It's interesting what Daniel Murphy did yesterday and throughout this weekend has made him the Nationals' top RBI guy now with 71. Harper right behind at 69. Ryan Zimmerman on deck has 63. Harper to right. See you later. And just like that, 3 batters and the Nationals lead 3-0. Well, he goes 1 better than Murphy. RBI total up to 72 on Harper's 23rd home run.
The sequence on BRYCE, he went down with a breaking ball, he chased it, then up with a fastball, and then another breaking ball, middle of the plate, a little bit down, but if it's in the middle, it doesn't matter how far it is down. BRYCE line drives it once again. He's hitting a lot of low line drives. He hit one yesterday that almost tore that wall down. The ball hit so loudly.
Now here's Zimmerman deep to left center, and it's 4-0. And Ryan Zimmerman becomes the all-time franchise leader in home runs.
Are you kidding me?
With number 235 passing Vladimir Guerrero. It's been a long time coming for Zimmerman. His last home run was over a month ago against the Braves and R.A. Dickey, and that gets that off of his back, and the Nats have a huge first inning.
Well, I think today, starting the game early, these guys decided to come out rolling out of their beds hacking. They're swinging at the first or second pitch, getting good balls to hit, and I think we've pretty much figured out that they know what they're doing with it.
Here's Murphy, and look out here. So back-to-back homers for the Nats.
Is that what you call jumping out to a good start?
Simply put, you're correct, and that's the 8th time this year the Nationals have gone back-to-back. Most recent, Rendon and Wieters, June 28th against the Cubs, and that was early in a ball game, 2nd inning. So here's the league's leading hitter in Daniel Murphy, who's 15 for his last 30. And Feldman's behind 2-0, and that's ball 3.
He doesn't know what to do with it right now. I guarantee you he's a little shell-shocked. You come off that mound in the bullpen, you have nothing but positive feelings, thinking it's going to be a good day. He has won 4 out of his last 5 starts. In his last 3, not giving up more than 2 runs, 2-2 and 0. In his last start against the Cubs, won 5-0, going 7 strong and only giving up 2 hits.
Cincinnati pitching coach Mac Jenkins. Ryan Zimmerman attacking early.
Well, he surely was. Very aggressive fastball in, running in, kept that ball fair easily as he uses that patented inside-out swing, throws the knob right back toward the pitcher with his left hand, doesn't roll over with his right hand, completes the swing with a great finish. And
that's really something. It's been over a month since he homered, and this is a long conference. James Hoy is going to have to break it up. Ryan Zimmerman's not the kind of guy who dwells on records or dwells on numbers. He just wants to go to work every day. But now he is the franchise all-time home run leader. Numbers brought to you by Jeep. Obviously all the Expos on that list, and now Zimmerman, the National, stands alone.
How about that?
And now a 4-pitch walk to Daniel Murphy. That was an off-speed pitch, it appeared, on 3-0. Feldman had given up 13 home runs in 103 innings, and he's given up 2 today before he gets even a third of an inning. Now murderer's row continues with Anthony Rendon, who is 7 for 11 in this series, and he's on a 10-game streak.
Yeah, that murderer's row is starting to be apropos, isn't it? You see these guys. I mean, he's only thrown 16 pitches. A double, a single, 2 home runs, and a walk.
17 for 36 for Anthony. That's a quality strike to the inside edge. He's 1 for 6 career against Scott Feldman.
He just changed his arm angle. He dropped down a little bit to get some sideways movement on that ball. Normally a high 3/4 delivery. That was almost sidearm there, as he did get some batter side run to it.
Breaking ball way outside. Tucker Barnhart able to block it forward. Nowhere for Murphy to go. Counts even 1-1. Now the Nats have hit 137 home runs, and the Reds have given up the astounding total of 158 in this, their 92nd game of the year. That's the most in the National League, also the most runs at 496. Thanks to the pounding yesterday, the Reds now have the highest ERA in baseball at 5.21, higher than Baltimore, and they gave up 8 yesterday. Target away on 2-1. Rendon, little flare to left, and everything's going right for the Nationals right now. 2 flares to left have fallen in by Drew and Rendon. First and second, still nobody out. And for Anthony Rendon, 11 games on the streak.
Up. Anytime the ball is up, you've got a chance to fight it off over the infield. That's why they tell you to keep the ball down. And Murph, good jump. Ball right in front of him. No way to advance to third on that, but nice base running, very aggressively.
First inning and the bullpen working with Asher Wojciechowski. Here's Matt Wieters, the number 7 hitter. Matt's had a good series. Didn't play yesterday. Jose Lobaton did. He hit a 2-run homer. Wieters 3 for 8 with a walk, and he's on a short 4-game hitting streak. That ball is rocked and foul. Look out.
Mercy. He's having one of those days, Bob, that when he tries to make his pitches early, he's missing. And then when he gets behind, it seems that the ball is right center cut. And then the 2 balls that have been hit in the outfield bloops were pitches that were just up.
That ball bounces way out in front of Barnhart.
I would say he's not real comfortable right now.
Feldman's last start, 7 real quality shutout innings on just a couple of hits and a win against the Cubs. In fact, he's gone 7 twice in a row. Wieters out to the gap, and that ball takes off. Requires a great play by Scooter Gennett, who falls, and now it's going to be a run scoring from second on a sacrifice fly. Murphy coming in. Bob Henley eyeballing the outfielder. Gennett fell, and Murph scores from second to make it 5-0.
Well, Gennett, normally an infielder, goes back. This ball is smoked too. Line drive looked like it was going to carry over his head. It did, but then a last-second lunge catches it into his glove. Then here, trying to get it out of the glove, ball comes out and allows Murph to come all the way from second base. But the fact is, Murphy didn't get overexcited, overzealous. He stayed there to tag up, knowing that if the ball got over his head, he's going to score easily anyway. So great base running by Murph.
Number 8 man is Ryan Rayburn. That's a curveball that just misses. Scooter put in the outfield today. As I mentioned, Billy Hamilton off. Schebler moved to center. Brian Price knows he wants Gennett's bat in the lineup with COZART. And now it's 2-0 on Rayburn, who's homered in this series. Ryan hit a 7th inning shot here on Saturday night, part of a 7-run 7th inning.
He has his batting average up to 294.
Yeah, 21 ball games, 15 for 51. And when he starts, he's hitting 339. Pardon me, 333. Now Feldman trying to get back in the count. Strasburg on deck in the very first inning. Two and two.
That's what he tries to get you to do as a right-handed hitter. He starts that ball with a sideways movement into the right-handed hitters. He tries to get you to swing at bad balls that appear to be strikes. Both of those pitches moving off the plate several inches.
RABURN got a hanger, but it was well off the plate in. And by the way, on the ruling on that, it's just strictly a sacrifice fly. No error or anything on GENNETT, with the runner getting the extra base. His momentum after a very good catch put him on the ground. And Murph kept on coming with the help of Bob Henley, his third base coach. Something you see very rarely. Two and RABURN stays alive. This is the last thing the Cincinnati pitching staff needed. And our skipper. I mean, how many buttons do you have to push and levers do you have to pull or push when the team's hitting like this?
Not many. See how long you're going to let the regulars play if they continue to mount up this kind of run production.
Yeah, RABURN takes another one.
I mean, although this game's starting at just about noontime, you got to make that long flight out there, play tomorrow, Wednesday, then the off day Thursday. Takes its toll.
3-2, runner going, and RABURN a fly ball to right. Rendon picks it up, and he's back to the bag on the catch by GENNETT. 2 outs. Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run up to 200 hit by the Nationals this year. Experience amazing at Lexus. And those guys have added to the total today. And this one popped up to the right side. Now that's a professional at bat by a pitcher that just got a 5-run lead in the first inning. He's ready to swing and get back to work. So Bryce Harper, a low liner out of here, his 23rd. Back-to-back goes Zimmerman, and Ryan has now hit more homers than anybody in the franchise history. Yeah, pitchers have done a great job. Gio, Max, Tanner Roark yesterday. So the starting pitching in this series has given up a grand total of 1 earned run. Steven Strasburg gets his chance today with that arsenal.
Yeah, he's going to throw you a lot of fastballs. He has the best combination of fastball, curveball, changeup in the league, in my opinion. The slider's something he's added. Still only throwing at 6%. The 18 starts 9-3 record. He always strikes out an average of 10 batters per 9 innings. Opposition 222 against him.
And important for him to go down and shut down the Reds here early in the game. So Zach Cozart hitting second in their lineup. 380 with runners in scoring position this year. The odd stat of the day, 0 for career with a couple of walks against Steven Strasburg, but he's been great, and he's setting the standard for shortstops offensively. First up is Jose Peraza in place of Billy Hamilton. And Peraza, a guy with very good speed himself. He has 15 stolen bases. Hitting .253.
Steven's velocity will be generally between 95 and 98. He'll throw that changeup 88 to 90, generally around 90. Takes quite a bit off of his curveball, and his slider throws about 86.
Got a play off to the right. Here's a note on the Nats and how they get out of the gate. 22 home runs this year in the first inning. Wow. 2 more tacked on today. Ready to hit, ready to play, huh? 1 ball, 2 strikes, and this one out to right center. And it falls in front of Bryce Harper. Bryce coming hard, and then he pulled up. So Peraza gets his 3rd hit of the series in 10 at-bats. The Nats defensively, with Goodwin, 4 outfield assists between RABURN and Harper, and Bryce has 6 runners thrown out this year. Drew and Murphy, the veteran guys, the double play combination at the corners. Anthony Rendon, Ryan Zimmerman, and Matt Wieters behind the plate. This is game number 92 for the Nats, and for Matt Wieters, this is his 73rd game of the year.
Bob, something right there. You got a 5-0 lead. You got a second baseman going out, 2 of your most valuable players. It is wise to pull up on that ball and not have a collision.
Yeah, there are times to sell out, but not there. Zach Cozart, couple of walks, 0 for 5 in this series. And Strasburg does a good job of jamming him with 95. The Reds are 5th in the league, hitting .258, 6th in runs, 6th in homers. And their speed factor goes down with Hamilton out of the lineup today. They're 2nd by 1 to Milwaukee in steals in the National League.
So he goes fastball in. He hits to the right side. He goes fastball away. He's late on that one.
And speaking of Milwaukee, Brewers will be at our ballpark for the next homestand, followed by Colorado. It'll be a good test for the pitching staff.
Going to go away again with his fastball.
And it's on the edge to strike him out. James Hoyt took a good look at it and then pulled out the bow and arrow on Zach Cozart.
Well, he just drills that ball right through the strike zone on the upper part. That's what got Cozart the height, but perfectly thrown, perfectly located.
Strikeout number 129. Steven is 8th in the league in strikeouts. He'll get into the top 10 today in innings pitched as soon as he gets about 6 or 7 outs. And he's also 9th in opponent's batting average at .222. Joey Votto's 4 for 13 career against him.
Well, as a hitter, Steven's the last type of pitcher you want to face. He's power. He has the ability to throw breaking balls for strikes, a curveball that falls off the table. It's way off speed. Then his changeup, you can't pick it up. It's a circle change that just fades and dies right at the plate.
That looked like the changeup drifting away. Strasburg, 19th start, looking for win number 10. Mike Maddox, eyes locked on his starter, who has 78 career wins, most in the history of the Nationals, making his 175th start. Bouncing ball, Zimmerman to short, return throw, plenty of time on a beautiful 3-6-3. So the leadoff base hit, no problem. And the Nats by 5. Goodwin's going to lead off again. The top of the first, and Scott Feldman is out of the game. We'll wait for word from the Reds on something other than the result having to do with that. So it's Asher Wojciechowski now. He's a 28-year-old right-hander, originally from Hardeeville, South Carolina, pitched at the Citadel, originally drafted by the Blue Jays. And this year for Wojciechowski, it'll be his 9th appearance. He's made 4 starts. Rather hittable, 27 hits in 24 innings, but 24 strikeouts.
Yeah, he has a good fastball, and he has a tough time getting the ball to the corners of the plate. When he gets hit hard, 287 batting average against, he just gets the ball middle of the plate. That's kind of what most of the pitchers tend to do. Bryce, little stat cast, hanging breaking ball, and he hits a line drive just 23 degrees high, 105 miles an hour, 106 miles an hour, 356 feet, and fastball running in, 98.6 exit, 23 degrees also, 391 feet.
Couple of first row homers, and they count as much as the upper tank, don't they? Here we go in the second inning, and StatCast, of course, powered by AWS. Nats got their first look at Asher Wojciechowski when he pitched 2 scoreless innings with 4 strikeouts on Friday night. The Reds were down 5-0 when he came into the game as they hit Tim Adelman hard. So second time around for the Nats seeing this guy. And Goodwin got the game off to a fantastic start with that double last inning. He's looking hitterish today, and he's way out ahead of that. And by the way, in this series, all 4 games now, Washington has had a 5-0 lead to start the day or the night.
Now I would say that's sweet.
1-2. Target in. And a breaking ball handcuffed him. Jose Peraza. First out, top of the second. See, the softer side of your favorite Nats is the 2017-18 Nationals Pet Calendar for just $20. Your limited edition calendar online or at the Nationals Park Team Store. Proceeds benefit the Humane Rescue Alliance of Washington, D.C. Visit nationals.com/pet calendar. There's Catman. Matt Wieters, the only guy on that calendar without a dog. It's all right. And by the way, we did our Lexus home run mention last inning. We had an amazing thing happen here at the ballpark today. Cynthia and Gary Byler, and there's a ball popped up to the left side. Suarez wants it. They're from Cape Charles, Virginia. They're so excited to be here in Cincinnati watching the Nats. They dropped off a check to the Children's National Health System in honor of the Lexus promotion. So a lot of thanks to Cynthia and Gary Byler. They went to a lot of trouble for that. Ray and I, unfortunately, were not in the booth at the time it was delivered to us, and we just want to publicly thank them for a fantastic contribution, and we will make sure that check gets to where it's intended to go. Bryce Harper now in this series, 6 for 14, 7 RBIs, and it's a pop-up fest here in the second. Off the shift, that's going to be caught by Zach COZART over there, and that's a pretty quick 1-2-3.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. Nationals with an early 5-0 lead here at the Great American Ballpark. Still a lot of buzz around this Nationals club about the trade that Mike Rizzo swung yesterday, getting Ryan Madson and Sean Doolittle, 2 relievers, in a trade with the A's. They are not with the team today. They will come join this Nationals club out in LA tomorrow. Now, the fans are obviously excited about this deal. What about inside the clubhouse? I asked Ryan Zimmerman how a trade like this is received as we get close to the trade deadline. He said it's good to see that we're being given reinforcements to give us a good chance to win. He said not to speak negatively upon our relievers because they're our teammates and friends, but this obviously lengthens the bullpen. It puts guys like Matt Albers, Enny Romero in the 6th, 7th inning, really shores up that bullpen in a variety of ways. They're excited about it, guys.
All right, thanks, Dan, with our Coons.com sideline report. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Ryan told me this morning he hasn't seen a whole lot of the former UVA fellow Wahoo, Sean Doolittle, in about 10 years because Sean's been in the other league. But Ryan was a junior when Doolittle was a freshman at the University of Virginia. And he'll be welcoming an old acquaintance back to the ball club, and that'll be very nice. And a total retooling of the middle to latter part of the game as far as the bullpen goes. This is Strasburg against Adam Duvall, bottom of the second. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So let's play with this a little bit. We talked about this yesterday, Ray Knight. A lot of lefties with Doolittle's addition. Perez, Romero, and Grace have been solid. Then you have Ryan Madson at the right side there. That's if you have all 8 of those guys.
Yeah, I don't think that I can recall a team that had 4 left-handers. That is really something special. It's unusual. I mean, if you have 2 good ones out there, you're very fortunate.
Yeah.
But all those guys on the left side have been pitching well. Matt Grace obviously has pitched exceptionally well in 9 of his last 12 outings. he's put up nothing but zeros, and you know that Perez is going to be the matchup guy. Annie is coming on strongly, and Doolittle moves right to the top of that list as far as a back of the rotation, back of the bullpen rotation guys, the 8th inning. And on the right side, you still have Gott that you want to get a real good look at. Albers has pitched exceptionally well. And then Blanton looks like he's starting to come. And then you add Madsen. So I don't know how they're going to go differently.
Wieters retrieves the swing and the miss that got behind him. And he throws out Duvall. So here's Jeep inside the numbers. Ryan Madsen, mainstay of those Philadelphia teams. Jason Worth, of course, knows all about him. They were such great winners. And Doolittle, an all-star, as recently as 3 years ago. And there may be times, now this is if the Nats don't pick up someone else to be the closer, and that still could happen. But if you're, let's say you're facing the Braves and you need somebody in the 9th inning against Freddie Freeman, maybe Doolittle gets that call. We'll see how it all shakes out. Strasburg's second strikeout, plus he has the double play ball. And you know, the footnote on Matt Grace is he saved the first 2 games of this series, his first 2 big league saves. So if one of those guys from that left side doesn't make the cut, it'll be strictly because of numbers and not based on performance. They've all been pretty good. 1-1 to Scooter Gennett.
Well, the big thing that's going to happen, you get guys that, I keep hearing people say they're not legitimate closers. They're not people that are closers. Well, my opinion is a closer is a guy that can get 3 outs. It doesn't make any difference if you're doing it all the time. They all have had experience in that spot. And if you look at the strikeouts to innings pitched, they miss bats. So if you miss bats, you can pitch in that 8th and 9th inning. Neither one of them walk people, especially Doolittle. Doolittle has like an 0.6 walks per 9 innings.
There's a busted bat, and Zimmerman has it. Yeah, a lot of riches, Ray, to choose from. And as we mentioned when we first came on camera today, the Nats have recalled Jacob Turner. That's Blake Trinan's roster spot, with Blake being part of that trade, along with young Jesus Luzardo and Sheldon Noisy. And I want to make sure that we correct the pronunciation of Sheldon's last name. It is Sheldon Noisy. And he, along with Jesus and Blake, heading to the Oakland organization, and we wish them all well. And we really hope that Blake Trinan can find a way to thrive in that big ballpark out there in Oakland, because if he throws that sinker like we know he can, he's going to get a lot of double plays and 5-4-3s out there. Eugenio Suarez, the hitter. I have the feeling right now that I'm sitting next to a manager who's jotting some things down, because I'm looking over at you, and I think you're back to your skipper days, and you're feeling like I've got a really solid bullpen right now, and
yeah,
you're playing with the combos, aren't you?
I am. It's hard to get away from that, Bob. It's just a part of your mentality. But if you look at what we have now, you know that probably Madsen and Doolittle are going to be in the 9th, depending on whether there's left-handers or right-handers in that lineup coming up in that inning. Albers and Romero should be pushed back to the 8th. Blanton and Grace should be the 7th inning guys, and then Perez matches up anytime against the left-hander, you know, whenever that may be.
Yeah.
And then Gott's the other name down there. We're not sure if he's going to get a shot at righting himself.
That ball is well hit to right center by Suarez, and the outfielders can only watch it as it flies over the 370 mark. His 13th of the year, 12th given up by Strasburg, puts the Reds on the board. Eugenio Suarez in 6 at-bats, first career hit against Steven Strasburg. Mercedes-Benz on the pitch cast.
Tried to get the fastball in, and it didn't get in there. Starts it on the inside, stays on the inside corner. He inside outs that ball. Most people will try to pull it, but really good hitters can take the middle part of the plate and put right center field in play. 0-2 pitch, too good of an 0-2 pitch. We talked about that time and time and time again. You get 0-2, you take the plate out of play. You expand it a couple of baseballs wide, 6 inches or so. You go to the bottom of the strike zone, or you elevate. You just take the plate completely out. That white does not even compute in your mind anymore. And we've seen that happen a couple of times, several times this year, mostly with relievers.
Scott SCHEBLER, center fielder today. Didn't start yesterday. He's 1 for 10 against the Nats in this series. Looks like Steven's still trying to get a feel for that changeup. He's had a couple of them miss the outside edge by I don't know, 8 to 12 inches. So that's been his big bread and butter pitch against left-handers. Nats in a shift. Rendon's out at short. And a 2-1 pitch. And he thought that was a fastball when he started his swing.
It's that slider that he throws every once in a while, and it was a dandy.
And he blows him away with a high heater at 96. 2 Ks in the inning. For the first time now, Ryan Zimmerman will step in as the all-time franchise home run guy. Ryan Zimmerman. And it's a reminder as you enjoy a cold one for our matinee today. Look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So it took over a month for Ryan. His homer made it 4-0 at the time. He came into this series looking for that historic homer. He's got 235. So for fans ages 12 and under, first 10,000 on Sunday, July 30th. Nats Rockies, it's a kids coloring book presented by the Potomac Nationals. Our single A friends down the road. To get your tickets, visit nationals.com/tickets. Top of the third. Ryan Zimmerman hit a fly ball against Wojciechowski when they met on Friday evening.
Wojo, he's throwing the fastball the first pitch, and then he'll throw that little slurvish slider, and then he's gotten 2 out of the first 3 outs in that second inning on changeups.
Target in and well inside.
Well, you have to pitch Zim in, and he can handle that pitch in there, but He is so good hitting the ball up the middle into right center field. You're doing him a favor going away.
And you have to think of how Dusty Baker handles his players and put Zimmerman's first at bat within the context of that. Ryan 0 for 7 in the series. Dusty gave him the day off yesterday. First time up today, bam, record-setting home run.
Dusty's a master at this. I've not seen, in all the years that I've been in this game, a manager just scheduling days off. You know, always you'd ask a player, how do you feel? How do you feel like going tomorrow? You know, Dusty is something that he presets.
3-1 to Zimmerman, and this one high in the air on the right side. Long run for Joey Votto, and he was very emphatic, calling Tucker Barnhart off the ball. Daniel Murphy, an amazing day yesterday with a first inning 2-run shot and a 5th inning 3-run homer.
Got the fastball moving away from me, hits it to right center, then got the fastball down and in, and wrapped it around the foul pole. It's not so much in. The more I see it, it's more kind of center cut, but it shows you how much plate coverage he has and extension to be able to pull the ball middle of the plate, middle outside third down that right field line.
And this whole RBI thing, not to be overlooked when it comes to Daniel Murphy, who drove in 104 last year, and now he has 71 batted in. When does a guy who's leading the league in hitting ever do that?
Not very often. Not very often. Those guys normally drive in 70, 80 runs. Big time home run hitters.
I mean, an amazing series here.
But they're going to hit 280, you know. You have too many people hitting 347 and
Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy, Rendon. Name of 4 in all of baseball. Better. That's on the edge. Murphy just spit on that pitch. And now he really goes to work now with a count of 1-2. He's walked twice in the series, along with that 5 for 8 that you saw. And Murphy was not in the lineup Friday night, coming off the All-Star appearance. He's raised his batting average 6 points this weekend. And you won't see that very often. He strikes out for only the 34th time this year.
Anthony Rendon, the hottest man on the planet, as he goes deep on Saturday night, and then the grand slam the same night, and then yesterday went deep again. And this ball, that was scorched. It went down that 17th row back there, just around the foul pole. Line drive, didn't look like it got about 10 foot higher than the fence and carried all the way back into that deep corner back there.
And thanks, Dan, our own Dan Coco, letting us know that just now Anthony Rendon was named the National League Player of the Weekend, which qualifies as Player of the Week because of the All-Star break. So
all right.
Pretty good when you're going to win that award in 3 days.
Well, I guarantee you don't win it unless you do some serious producing. You know, it might be just 3 days, but you can't play better than this guy's playing. He is playing as well as any baseball player in the league. Defensively, offensively, runs the bases great. The power, RBIs.
2-0 pitch with the target outside, and that's way out there. Here's the other thing about Anthony Rendon, and we've talked about this numerous times this year. 51 walks, 9th most in the league, but that's 3 times more than he has struck out.
Might be sitting on a breaking ball because he's thrown so many breaking balls. Unusual to see him take a couple of pitches, but although it's 3-0 count, you know, that changes it a little bit. But Anthony knows he can hit with 2 strikes. It doesn't matter to him.
And he'll go to first. First base runner against Asher Wojciechowski in his 2 innings. That'll bring in Matt Wieters, who hit that sacrifice fly to right center first time, scoring Murphy from second base when Scooter Gennett made a very good running catch and then fell down, and Murphy kept on coming. Matt Wieters, 37 RBIs on the year now. Numbers pretty balanced. Came in today 243 left-handed, 248 overall.
We've hit on this a little bit over the series, but how the catchers for the Reds, they don't set up directly behind the plate. Wherever they want the ball, they go out there and they cheat to that side. He wants this ball outside. Watch him shift a little bit out there, about 6-7 inch shift to the outside corner.
2-0.
Totally against Davey Johnson's theory. Davey Johnson's theory, he wanted his catcher to set up square behind home plate and let the pitcher's natural movement take the ball off the center of the plate.
It's called trusting your stuff, right?
It is, and trusting the fact that, not necessarily fact, but most people can't throw it directly straight.
2-0.
Not any real good swings yet against Wojciechowski. Either late or jammed, or going to go fastball in here.
And that's well off the plate. He's in danger of walking two men with 2 outs.
Well, he's gone to his fastball this whole inning. Prior to this inning, he was going fastball early and then going to the curveball and the changeup.
And Wieters pops it up. Right behind second, it's Zach COZART. And the Nats are down in the third. Wojciechowski settling this game down for the Reds. Limited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Jose Quintana acquired by the Cubs from the Sox. His debut, a great one at Baltimore yesterday. 3-hit shutout through 7. Didn't walk anybody, 12 Ks. It doesn't get any better than that. Nelson Cruz from Seattle, he's slugging. All-star guy. We know what he's capable of. And the run differential for the Dodgers, 172, the best in baseball. And the Nats are doing okay as well. Right now, the Milwaukee Brewers 4.5 up on the Cubbies and 6.5 on St. Louis. Are the Cubs about to make the move? And I'm talking about in terms of the standings that everybody's been expecting. Next couple of weeks will tell. Sounds like Theo may not be done yet. Barnhart, a swing and a miss to the bottom of the third we go. Feldman and Peraza to follow. Steven Strasburg, first 2 innings, 30 pitches, 22 strikes. Tucker Barnhart has started all 4 games of the series behind the plate. 2 for 11. Maybe Strasburg now starting to get a feel for that changeup.
And that makes it very, very long day for those guys swinging that stick.
Hey. A lot of off speed to the lefty here.
Well, 0-2, as I said before, you have so many options. You know you have 3 pitches to even get it to 3-2, but even I've always felt you had 4 pitches, because that 3-2 pitch, if you throw it anywhere near the strike zone, they're going to be aggressive and swing at it. What makes Steven so tough is pretty obvious. He's a power guy. He locates well. He pitches off of his fastball. You have to get the bat started. The changeup eats you up because of the variance of speed. And then he has that curveball that he really hasn't broken out today, but he throws against left-handers. So you have to not only think about velocity, you have to think about the height of the pitch, because he's going to elevate sometimes. He's going to go in and out. You got to worry about the changeup, which is the off speed, and then that curveball just drops off the table. Too many things that you have to adjust to as a hitter. So what you do is you go up there and you pick out a pitch and eliminate it. If it's his changeup and you know you can't handle it and he throws it the way he wants to throw it, then you just eliminate it. And you look for a particular pitch in a particular area and hope that he makes a mistake in that area that you're looking.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Strasburg career against Cincinnati. 7 previous starts, 2-1, 5 ERA. Nissan pitch casting the entire at bat here. Tucker Barnhart refuses to swing and miss. He's hanging in there.
It's another thing with pitchers that have great stuff there. Hitters don't necessarily put the ball in play, but they'll take you deep in the count a lot of times, because your ball, no matter where it's thrown, it's so filthy that you can't really barrel it up. You're right. He's falling off of that changeup. You see how he's falling way to the left instead of finishing it. We were taught, when you throw a changeup, think about picking up a dollar bill off of the grass as you finish, because it's so important to finish that arm action, or you'll lose the ball out to the right. That's a nice one.
Or lose the bat on a strikeout. That's about 105 feet on the toss. And for Strasburg, 4th strikeout of the day.
See what he did there, though, Bob? He went changeup and he didn't feel it. Fell off of it a little bit. Then he had the correction where he got right back in there, threw the changeup back to back, got the feel of it, and threw a nasty one.
Freddie Benavidez getting out of the way of that one. Here's Asher Wojciechowski, who's 0 for 6 as a big league hitter. All of those this year with the Reds. Originally drafted by Toronto, went to Houston in a multi-player deal. Marlins took him off the waiver wire. So did Arizona. Actually signed him as a free agent. They let him go, and the Reds picked him up April 21st of this year.
Steven, really free and easy today. Very compact, smooth in his delivery. Blowing it. 98. I don't know if there's anybody in the league that gets ahead of hitters more than Steven. 0-2, 1-2. 0-1.
1-2 in this case, and the swing and the miss. First time through the order, 5 strikeouts. The Reds go 2 for 9 with Peraza's single and Suarez home run. Washington area Toyota dealers helping children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's and at the National Institutes of Health for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this year. And for Strasburg, that's number 133. And of course, we started that promotion years ago using Stevens' uniform number as the set contribution rate. So here's Peraza, who dropped one into right field to lead off the game for the Reds. After COZART struck out, Joey Votto hit into the Zimmerman engineered 3-6-3 double play. Rendon even with the bag at third. Did a little housekeeping down there to keep things smooth right in front of him. And a 2-0 pitch. Peraza showing bunt that it got Anthony onto the grass. And now the count 2-1. This one to right, pretty well hit. Harper backed up and stopped, and he's right there. Steven Strasburg's first true 1-2-3 inning. The fourth inning of Nationals baseball is brought to you by the all-wheel drive RAV4. Toyota, what drives you? Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. Staying cool right next to the yard here. No school, baby. Time for the fountain and for others. Some with gloves. Time for some baseball. Curly W guys in the yard, and they're going to watch Ryan Raburn, Steven Strasburg, and Brian Goodwin get things started here. Top of the fourth inning. Raburn fly ball to right in the first inning. First pitch curve well outside.
I got a question for you, Bob. It's going to be a hard one now.
Okay.
Worth is not too far off. You got Rayburn, who's played exceptionally well. You got Heisey, who's played for Dusty 2 or 3 years and is an outstanding player.
And he's back. He's had a good 4-hit weekend.
So somebody's going to have to go with Worth coming back. And I don't know that it's going to be an infielder with Defoe and Drew. So, and Rayburn's played well enough to stick, right? That's another one of those numbered deals where you got a couple of guys playing really well, and Somebody's going to have to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough decision when Jason gets back. Not sure when that's going to be.
And then Trey's coming back within 4 weeks, and then Taylor's coming back.
Boy, these are good problems to have, aren't they?
They are.
3-0 pitch is in there with Strasburg on deck here in the top of the fourth. Well, Ray, some guy in the Hall of Fame cost you a lot of playing time here.
Yeah, he did.
All-time hits leader. Just got the battle, and the thing about it, at this level, and that ball is well hit by RABURN to left center, and that's off the bottom of the wall. DUVALL picks it up. What's going on? It took him forever. What happened there? RABURN ends up at third base for about a century and a half. Guys have been picking up the ball and throwing it in as quickly as they could. And I'm not really sure what happened there.
Well, let's just take a look at it together. As the ball hits the bottom of the wall, the left fielder is much closer to the ball. But watch what happens here. It caroms off hard, and then he starts to turn around, and the center fielder's kind of in his way, I think. Look right here, and then he just doesn't throw it. What the heck? Get it on its way. They always taught us in the outfield, hey, when you can get that thing turned around, get your feet underneath you, get it on its way. I don't know what he did.
They're calling it a triple, and now the Reds are going to appeal that RABURN might have missed second base. He did not. He's safe at third.
And you know what? The left fielder said, hey, I saw him miss second base, so I decided I wasn't going to throw. Look at him. He's looking at the ball, but does he touch second? Right on the edge of it.
I haven't seen that since my kids were playing T-ball when you're hollering, throw it in, throw it in.
No,
that's crazy.
I haven't seen that either.
Strasburg gets a chance for his third RBI of the year. And that's a curveball in there. So Adam Duvall just kind of froze out there, and Ryan RABURN kept on coming. So we've had that happen today. And we've had a guy score from second base on a sacrifice fly.
Yeah, that GENNETT play, I don't know that I've seen in a long time, if I've ever seen it, where a guy catches the ball, have a guy on second base. There's no reason to rush to get it back in because that's the second out, right? So he catches the ball, gets in a hurry, fumbles it, and then the guy scores from second.
So one play with a guy in a hurry and another play with a guy really not in a hurry.
Took a nap.
1-1 to Strasburg, and that's a good fastball by Wojciechowski. So Ryan RABURN's now 3 for 7 in this series. Strasburg 5 for 37 on the year with a homer and 2 batted in. And he has 17 career RBIs. Front door on the hook, and he got a piece of it. Steven, by the way, on the mound has retired 8 of the last 9 Reds since the Peraza base hit to lead off the game. The only hit in there, the Suarez homer.
Well, you just make good contact as fast as this infield is. Everybody's on the grass. That means you got to make the ball go through at third base. You don't even attempt until you see the ball get into the outfield.
That's a called strike, and that's the first out. Wojciechowski's second K of the afternoon as he's in his third inning of work. Nats Road Ahead, driven by your local Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyFirst.com. So it's on to Anaheim tomorrow night. Still officially, it's a to be determined for the Nats. We're hearing Edwin Jackson to be called up against right-hander Jesse Chavez. And then Wednesday night, Gio Gonzalez, who was brilliant here on Friday, will go in against an as yet unnamed Angels starter. And then the weekend in Phoenix before the Nats come home.
Now this is a little different for you guys at third base. With infield in with 1 out, what you are taught to do here,
and that's a pop-up,
is don't run on that one.
Peraza going out, getting under it. It's going to be up to Stephen Drew now, looking for the 2-out hit.
I'm gonna have to talk to Brian. He's getting into my broadcasting. You don't swing that first pitch, boy. But
Hey,
what?
you're not his manager, okay? Take it easy over there, Skipper.
I'm not his manager, but I got a job to do. I'm getting walked on here a little bit.
Ray Knight joining us for the weekend. FP will be back with us tomorrow night at Angel Stadium.
Let me get back to that thought. So
All right.
with infield in runner on third base, then now you can go on a ball that gets by the pitcher if you think that way, though, that's what they teach. You're in trouble. You're not going to score. But you're not trying to get home to score. You're trying to get home in order to get in a rundown and allow the batter who becomes a runner to get to second base. So then you have not lost anything, but you're being aggressive. And that infielder may throw the ball away just because of the fact you're breaking hard on contact. But I don't believe you have to make the ball go by the pitcher, because then you're going to be thrown out anyway.
1-0 pitch, and Drew takes off speed. This is where Wojciechowski and the Reds want the inning to end, because there's danger on deck, who's done lots of damage in this series.
Well, Drew is really a great cripple hitter, meaning a 2-0 anytime he's ahead in the count. He looks for a spot, and he's a guess hitter. He'll tell you he looks for a particular pitch.
A lot of guys popping up against Wojciechowski. This one out into center for SCHEBLER. So the Nats had a runner at third, nobody out, and failed to score. Still leading by 4. .560 Nats, all those runs in the first. 1-2-0 Reds. We go bottom 4, and 15 minutes could save you 15% or more in car insurance. Visit geico.com, see how much you could save. Ray?
Well, he has a fastball. That's one reason he's difficult. He has the fastball. That's the same fastball. Then he comes back with a changeup, bottom falling out of it. Look at that nasty thing. And then we mentioned the curveball. Here it is, yacker, starting about thigh high and dropping down to the ground. So that's why he's such a good pitcher, and that's why over the last 2 years this young man is 24-7, because he has got a lot of stuff to have to try to do something with.
And Ray, trying to get through an order a couple of times, maybe 3, which the good ones do now. You got to have the arsenal, but knowing when to use those pitches, huh? Because most guys aren't blessed with these kind of pitches that they can always call on.
Yeah, no, there's not 5 pitchers in the league that has a fastball that's a power fastball that he also locates, that he can run, and he also four-seam. A curveball that has that kind of drop to it, and then a changeup that has so much deception with movement that he throws for strikes. You know, it's one thing to have those 3 pitches and throw them, but it's another thing to be able to command them, and he commands them. And then he's added the slider, which he throws only 4, 5, 6% of the time, but gives you something else to think about.
Looked like he made a commitment. He's punched out by Will Little, the first base umpire. Steven Strasburg has struck out 4 of the last 5 Reds, and that's number 6 on the day.
And the fastball in. See that run? See that late run? Sideways movement, only about 4 or 5 inches, but it will eat you up, because you're seeing out there out in front of you, about 20 feet in front of you is the last time you see it. It's out over the plate a little bit. You go to commit to it, and man, it eats your fingers up if you swing at it.
Mercedes-Benz on the pitch cast, and here's Joey Votto up the middle. Strasburg tried to skate save, and then it was unreachable for Drew playing on the ship. So Joey Votto gets his first hit of this series in Game 4. He's now 1 for 9 against the Nats.
I don't want Steven to kick that ball, do you? Let it go. Heck. Let it kick one off of that instep and miss 4 or 5 starts. Nice effort by Drew.
Votto is on base for the 5th time because the Nats had walked him 4. He's aboard with 1 out. Here's DUVALL, who struck out swinging first time up on a pitch in the dirt that got behind Wieters. Matt recovered and threw him out. And is this 2? Rendon, Murphy around the horn. Zimmerman sells it by popping off the bag, and Steven Strasburg gets his 2nd inning ending ground ball double play of the day. We got a Mazda do up for you. His name's Harper. He has 6 hits in this series, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, and he's on a 12-game hitting streak. Must see leadoff in a moment. Two double play balls by Steven Strasburg today, saving him bunches of pitches. Now, ladies, on Saturday, July 29th, it's your night. It's Ladies' Night at Nationals Park. Take part in a pregame panel. It'll be discussing women in baseball featuring Nationals female executives. You can enjoy drink specials and take home a set of Nationals wine jars. A lucky fan will win a trip to MGM Las Vegas. Nationals.com/special ticket. Bryce Harper, it's the 5th inning. He's batting for the 3rd time. Wojciechowski, 40 pitches, 21 strikes. He's retired 9 of the 11 Nationals he has faced. So he's been the tonic the Reds pitching staff needed coming out of the bullpen. Harper thinking about bunting against the shift with Eugenio Suarez out there up the middle and Zach Cozart way out there at short.
We talked about that yesterday. You know, I know that they're going to say bunt it every time. Go ahead and bunt. Take the single. You're a run just waiting to happen, swinging the bat. But if they're going to give it to you and you're leading off, take it.
2-0. Let's update the batting race for you based on what's happened here today. So Murph has a walk and a strikeout. He's lost 1 point. Buster Posey busting up the Nats in there as well as Charlie Blackmon. But look at Washington with 4 of the top 6. The recent surge of Rendon getting him on that list. And now Bryce sees off speed on 2-0. And you got to think the green light is blazing if he sees anything he likes here.
He's going to try to trick him, though. This pitch should not be anywhere close. It's almost going to be like an intentional walk. I can't imagine throwing him a fastball.
Unless it's outside.
I mean, way off the plate, not a hittable fastball.
All right, remember earlier we talked about looking forward to a Miller moment? Well, here it is. Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. And it's going to be a record for Ryan Zimmerman, the all-time franchise leader, back in the 1st inning.
Fastball in. By ya. No chance. Long, high fly ball. And he's done that how many? 235 times. 35 times. That's a lot of dingers. And he's got a lot of time left. What a player. What a good man.
The best. Had a nice chat with Gentleman Zim as we came down the tunnel today, and he was excited to welcome a former UVA teammate to the ball club in Doolittle. And you know, Ryan's the kind of guy, bus, hotel, dugout, clubhouse, ballpark, you can't tell if he's 6 for his last 10 or 0 for his last 10. Same approach. 0-1. He's going to bust his bat, and Joey Votto is going to go over and get it. Now, he will be unhappy after something like that. Wojciechowski, a lot of outs in the air. He has 2 strikeouts and has not thrown a single ground ball out in his 3 1/3 so far.
Well, that tells me he's sneaky. When guys are hitting the ball in the air, they're generally a little late because it lays their bat off. They're late. They're not able to get the bat to a level plane. When they're starting hitting a lot of ground balls, that means they're early, and that bat head starts to roll over, hit the top of the ball, and get overspin. So, and a lot of these pop-ups have been to the opposite way.
Target in. Murphy looking for his first hit. He likes the ball in.
Well, as consistent as Ryan Zimmerman is with his attitude and his everyday approach, is as consistent as this man is with putting the bat or the barrel on the ball. I mean, gosh. Oh.
Usually in the 5th inning, we're not saying Murphy looking for his first hit of the day. 5 out of 9 in this series with a pair of walks. Wojciechowski struck him out swinging last time up, and looking back to James Hoy as if to ask, was that a strike, or would it have been if I had swung?
It was a strike, and he was late on it. So these guys, nobody has really squared him up yet. RABURN did, and in that 4th inning, but all these pop-ups are coming from balls that they're just not quite getting to. See if he goes out there again. Wants it up.
Yeah, Barnhart wants it up, and he strikes out Murphy again. I don't know that I've seen Daniel strike out twice in a game this year. Nissan on the pitch cast.
Well, it is a fastball, up, out, not even close, but people tend to swing at balls up out of the strike zone when they're not picking it up. They're getting a late read on it. That's why they foul it off, and they also hit it in the air the opposite way.
Murphy has never struck out this year more than twice in a game, and that's the 6th time it's happened for a deuce. And he's playing in his 85th game of the year.
Well, you can tell how much run he has on his fastball when he jams Zim after Zim hit a home run on his fastball the first at bat. He jams Zim big time to first, and then he runs 2 fastballs up and away to Murph. Let's see what he does with this big boy. I know he can hit a fastball.
1-0 to Rendon. Drew a walk last time, and that's well off the plate in ball 2.
Yeah, that ball's running 12 inches though. That ball's running 12 inches. The catcher's having his mitt right over the inside corner, and he's having to reach out with his thumb up, catching the ball real close to the hitter's body. That's a lot of run.
Two 2-0. That ball skips into Barnhart's mitt. If you'd like to meet or win a meet and greet with Anthony Rendon, check out MASN Nationals on Facebook for your chance to win. That's facebook.com/MASN Nationals. Barnhart out for a visit.
I had a pitching coach, Larry Shepard, for the Reds when I was playing with the Reds way back when. And he thought 3-0 was the best count to run on because he told his pitchers not to even look at the runner at first. especially with 2 outs. Now, we know that Bryce hasn't been running. You don't really want him to run. You don't want him to get hurt. But this is a time that the pitcher pays little attention to you, and you can get as big a lead as you want and take off.
Yeah, he hopped off the bag and then stayed. And Rendon's on base for the 3rd time. His on-base percentage is skyrocketing. Started the day at .419. He has singled and walked twice. Into the 2 o'clock hour here at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Ray Knight subbing for FP Santangelo this weekend. Dan Coco back with us today. So Ray, tell Johnny hi for us back in the studio to when you get back there, and we'll have some late night baseball for you from Anaheim for 2 and Arizona for 3. It's been great having you this weekend, buddy.
It's been great being with you, Bob. So much greater to see the ball club playing as well as they're playing. Great starting pitching, the offense just on fire.
Well, you played here, you coached here, you managed here, and we figured we'd put you to work as a broadcaster here. You've done just about everything else in this town.
Yeah, this town's been really good to me. My son was born here and got my first shot to play in the big leagues here. Albeit, as you say, I spent 4 years in AAA waiting for Pete. And finally,
waiting for Pete Rose to go in a slump?
Waiting for Pete to do something. And then I finally make the club out of the spring training in 77, 78. I only had 104 at bats in 77 and played in like 115 games playing defensively for him. And then 78, he went in that 44 game hitting streak, and I think I had 56 at bats all year.
Wow.
That's not a lot of bat.
0-2 to Wieters, and he hits it hard. Joey Votto on the 1 hopper. And this kid Wojciechowski's really done a big time job for the Reds today. He's gone through 4. Won Nationals halfway through the ball game. We have a Volkswagen moment for you, and it revolves around a guy named Ray Knight, a native of Albany, Georgia, who had .271 in his big league career, 1,311 hits, drove in almost 600 runs, a couple of all-star games, and Ray was a Cincinnati Red from 1974 to 1981. There he is. What's up with this batting stance, man? You're in a deep crouch.
I was. It got sinker ball pitcher. I didn't get it.
Warning track power. You got that one, though. That was out. Look at that bench. Concepcion. You were on some great teams here, Ray, and congrats on a great career. You know, people talk about your MVP with the World Series and the Mets and all that in '86, but, I mean, you were raised in the Cincinnati organization.
I was 11 years in the Reds organization as a player, and with just great people, Sparky Anderson, and just in the middle of the Big Red Machine era.
Here comes Murphy on the run. Quick exchange, and he throws out Scooter Gennett. You know, and you talk to players who've played for different teams, but the first one that brought them to the big leagues, the one that they battled through the minor leagues, the bus rides and all that, that always remains really special to you, doesn't it?
The reason why is you sign with these people. There's 100 guys in spring training. You don't know anybody. I'm from a little town in South Georgia, and maybe the best player in Georgia that year that I was drafted, or one of the best certainly, and then you're playing against the best players from California and New York and Arizona, and all of a sudden you realize I'm not that special. Everybody down here can run, everybody can throw, they're hitting it farther than me, but you become friends with these people, and they're lifetime friends, and they become your buddies because you're just out of high school, 17 years old for me, went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I didn't know anybody. And then you just develop these relationships that last forever. You go with them through the minor leagues. You save your money. You collect money. You put it together just to buy you a pizza.
Fly ball to left by Suarez. Ryan RABURN for the second out.
So yeah, you always have a real soft place in your heart for that organization. Now, I was fortunate enough to come back as a coach, as Davey Johnson's hitting coach in '93, and then as bench coach in '94, and then '95 bench coach and third base coach. Finally '96 he went to Baltimore, and I managed those 2 years, and then went back to ESPN for 5 years and came back and was Bob Boone's bench coach. So spent about as many years here as a coach, a manager, and a never a broadcaster. Never had a chance to come back and broadcast for the Reds, but I'll tell you one thing, I got the best gig in the world. The people that I work for, and getting to come out here is fun though. I mean, it's fun to just get out of that studio for a little while, and not that I don't like it there, but it's always neat to be at the ballpark.
That's where everybody loves to be. And Strasburg right now pitching like he likes it. SCHEBLER struck out by Steven first time up. That's low, and the count goes to 2-1. Through 4 innings, Steven Strasburg was averaging 12 or 13 pitches per. That's Michael Lorenzen getting ready, because they've gotten 4 innings out of the bullpen from Asher Wojciechowski on 56 pitches. Close to paint on the inside edge. 3-1. Strasburg took 1 and then 2 peeks in at the umpire after that call. He'll bring in the breaking ball to get back in the count. Mercedes-Benz on the pitch cast.
That's what makes him so special. 3-1. He can throw the breaking ball. He can throw the changeup. He can throw any of his pitches for strikes. A guy that's always right around 70% strikes thrown per outing.
And because of the shift, that's a base hit. Rendon picking up the bouncing ball to the left side, and the Reds now have their 4th hit of the day. Let's go inside the numbers, brought to you by Jeep. Consecutive row starts allowing 3 runs or fewer. Steven trying to take that number to 9 behind Scherzer and Walker. Those are all active streets, brought to you by Jeep. Here's Tucker Barnhart, the catcher. Trying to turn the lineup over, get a pinch hitter up in a moment. That's failed to score in the 4th when they had a runner at 3rd, nobody out. Still quite a ball game here. 5-1. There's Jesse Winker, who will bat for Wojciechowski if the inning continues. There's the changeup.
Great arm motion. Ball just doesn't get there. It's almost like it hesitates and stops.
doubles up on it. And that one was really nasty because of where it ended up. Tucker Barnhart struck out swinging first time up. He fouled off a bunch of pitches. That was a 10-pitch AB.
Bob, a changeup's a pitch that you can tell the hitter it's coming and him still not hit it, because you're seeing the speed of the arm, and that's what computes in your brain, and the ball just doesn't get there because he kills it with that choke grip. There's another one.
91 and the inning is over. Strasburg dominating the Reds on 4 hits through 5. He'll bat when the top of the 6th rolls around. Nats lead 5-1. Warm day in the sun here in Cincinnati. 5-1 Nationals. MLB.com at bat. Your #1 mobile app for live Nationals baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. You get Nationals home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio, and StatCast. Download MLB.com at bat. Nats box 5 of their 6 hits, all of their runs in the first inning. Goodwin double, Drew single, Harper homer, Zimmerman homer, Murphy walk, Rendon base hit, Wieters sac fly. And since then, the only hit, the Ryan Rayburn leadoff triple, 4th inning. Show him, Dad. But don't let him throw any curveballs or sliders till he's about 16 years old. Work on the heater. I think Dad's getting ready to fire a few. He's got a grip on things. So here's Rayburn, Strasburg, and Goodwin, top 6.
I'm kind of like that. I get a baseball in my hand, I want to throw it, catch it, hit it.
Yeah, unless it's autographed and really valuable, you want to go play with it, right? Rayburn, fly ball to right, triple to left center. This guy does not get cheated in the batter's box. He's going to line one out to short, caught by ZACK COZART. Strasburg is next. Wojciechowski doing some kind of job. They have started him 4 times this year. And starting pitching is a real problem for the Reds. Coming in, their starters had a 6.04 ERA, and that's the 3rd highest by any staff since earned run average became an official stat 104 years ago. Joey Votto on the stretch, and a good job by COZART with the pitcher running just to get rid of it and let the first baseman make the adjustment. And then their starter today goes out and gives up 5 runs in 1 inning, so that Reds ERA probably well over 6.10 now.
What do we say? Get it on its way. You get rid of that ball as soon as you can, and good things happen at the other end. That's a nice play there. Long hop. Votto as good as they come over there at picking it.
Brian Goodwin 1 for 3, double in 3 trips, couple of pop-ups. One. So that was Wandy Peralta. They have 2 lefties. Tony Cingrani had a long 8th inning yesterday, so Peralta would be their first available left-hander today. Wojciechowski's about to get this game into the bottom of the 6th inning without giving up a run, unless Goodwin does something deep, and he does. Right field. Is it going to stay in? See you later. Brian Goodwin, 8th of the year, and the Nats have their 5-run lead back. Second hit today. 3rd of the series. How quick did this thing get out?
Well, he has a quick bat. He's been dragging the bat a little bit, but now that ball's down and in where you can drop the head right to it with the shortest distance to travel. And just another bolt. Low line drive, 8th home run of the year.
Well, that's a feel-good day for him. 1 for 13 in the series. A pair of extra base hits today. 2 runs scored, and now Drew takes a ball that appeared to get through and hit James Hoy, the umpire.
Seven hits today, 5 of the extra base variety, with the 3 home runs, a triple and a double.
Nats have now hit 20 home runs in 7 games against the Reds this year. Healthy Hack. It's the only day game in baseball today. The Nats with 138 home runs. So they've passed the Mets. And now trail only the 143 of that slugging Milwaukee ball club that we'll see next week. In the East, the Nats keep winning. So do the Braves. They've won 3 straight. They're back to 500, playing good baseball. They just had a great weekend against the Diamondbacks. But then it gets distant from there with the Mets 13. Marlins have lost 3 in a row, 13.5, and then the Phillies. That ball stays upstairs. Braves hosting the Cubs tonight. Pretty good pitching matchup. John Lester and Julio Teheran. Yeah, that's usually a lot of pitches for a guy who's relieved. But Wojciechowski has started 4 games in his 9 appearances this year. Do something like this, it might get you back in the rotation. This ball popped up by Drew and out of play, right side.
Yeah, especially if he throws like this. I've not paid that much attention to him this year. And you see the ball's right on the edge, nothing in the middle of the plate. The ball to Goodwin right in his sweet zone, down and in, moving the ball around very effective.
And Drew is going to be called out on a breaking ball down in the zone. But with 2 outs, Brian Goodwin, a little right field lightning. Another line drive home run today. The Nats aren't hitting them high, but they're hitting them deep. 6-1.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. As mentioned earlier, Jacob Turner comes up from AAA Syracuse today to give the Nationals an extra relief arm, but another move made in concert with that was Koda Glover getting transferred from the 10-day DL to the 60-day DL, and that move might create some kind of concern among Nationals fans, but Dusty Baker saying earlier today that there was no setback with Koda Glover. They just needed to clear a spot on the 40-man roster with Turner coming up today. Glover's already been out 37 days. He's currently down in West Palm rehabbing that right shoulder, so he'll only need to miss another few weeks before he could potentially be eligible to rejoin this Nationals club. We'll have to monitor Koda and see how he comes along, still taking things pretty slowly, but no real added concern there with Koda Glover going to the 60-day, guys. Just a transactional move.
Okay, thank you, Dan, for the update. When you're talking Cards, you're talking Coons. Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. Ryan Goodwin goes deep. Arizmendi Alcantara, the pinch hitter, leads off the 6th, and Strasburg goes perfectly to the outside edge. In the series, 0 for 4 for this switch hitting infielder outfielder. That's paint up in the zone to the outside edge. Nissan on the pitch cast.
71st pitch, 97 miles an hour, plenty of plate. Sitting nicely right in that 70 pitch range. That didn't miss much.
Asher Wojciechowski, by the way, gives the Reds 5 innings, 1 run, the Goodwin homer on 2 hits, walked 3, struck out 4, 70 pitches to get through those 5. And that kind of effort when you're way behind can save your bullpen for a couple of days. Steven Strasburg pitching like he doesn't want the bullpen to get in the game. 8 strikeouts on the day. Second time through the order, they go 2 for 9.
Well, it's not fair when you throw 5 fastballs and then 3 and 2 you throw a hook. But he's always had that confidence and the ability to throw strikes with all of his pitches. That makes it not very much fun for hitters.
National starters in this series: Gio, Scherzer, Roark, and Strasburg, giving up a total of 2 earned runs. Harper has it near the line, a quick second out. Jose Peraza 1 for 3, and Zach COZART next. He has struck out twice. Well, you talk about getting ahead, Ray. And as the game goes on with starters like this, you start to see things get more economical when hitters know they have to swing early because nobody wants to be 0-2.
You're exactly right, Parts.
And he falls behind there, 2-1. Might have been one of the few overthrows, if not the first, Stevens had all day.
Well, every once in a while you're going to get out front a little bit and pull that ball off the outside part of the plate. Your legs start to get tired and you don't have the foundation.
Reds box score: 1 hit in the first, second, fourth, and fifth. It's been amazing. I'm looking back on the weekend, and against the Nats starters, there's been 1 inning, the 5th inning yesterday, when Cincinnati had more than 1 hit. 1 inning in 4 days against the starting staff. COZART walks in front of Joey Votto, and now Strasburg has to go to work because Joey Votto could change things in a hurry. Coming off his first base hit of the series, a grounder up the middle last time up.
If you look at the 4 hits that they have, the home run was hit well, but the first base hit by Peraza was just a little dinker to right field. Votto hits the ball that Drew dives at up the middle, and then the ball that SCHEBLER hits on a semi-check swing down third baseline with the shift on. So only 1 ball has been hit hard all day.
And he starts Votto off with a first pitch curveball. Outside edge. So only 5 times has he missed with his first pitch today against 21 hitters. Wieters held it there for a moment. Ball 1.
Well, I like the way Steven misses with a pitch and then comes back with the same pitch just to get the feel of it. Some people will totally abandon a pitch if they miss it 2 or 3 times in a row.
That one just missing away.
Still throwing 98 miles an hour, so he's got plenty of juice left. Joey Votto, he won't swing if the ball is a dime off the edge of the plate.
Yeah, now we look at that pitch cache to know why Wieters held that fastball.
Yeah, all 3 of those pitches were strikes.
And he didn't get the call because Matt was set up away, and when you have to reach across, more often than not, you're not going to get that call. But Strasburg has evened things up here, 2-2. Joey Votto, tough to strike out. 44 strikeouts this year, 66 walks, the most of any hitter in baseball.
Well, he's right on the top of the plate, isn't he? Uses a short bat and then still chokes up about 3 inches. It's all about quickness with him. Not big swing, just quickness.
Hasn't cost him any power this year. 26 home runs. He's going to inside out that one foul.
That's why he walks so much. He just continues to battle. He doesn't give in. He just fights off pitches that are borderline pitches and works his way to either a walk or a pitch that's better to hit. Gives him a better opportunity to drive the ball somewhere over the ballpark.
Murphy in right field on the shift. 3-2. Joey Votto is just not going to swing at a bad ball. He's walked 4 times in this series.
I mean, none of these pitches, all 5 pitches have been within an inch or 2 of the plate. Look at that. I mean, that last pitch was maybe 2.5 inches off the plate away. Everything else has touched the strike zone.
And with the runner going, Votto fights off another one.
Well, you can get him with a changeup here if you throw it to where it starts in the strike zone. He's always been able to fight fastballs off.
3-2 again. COZART moving, and Votto to center. Goodwin is there. That was a good battle. Strasburg and Votto, and Steven wins it. Bryce Harper, top of the 7th coming up. Zimmerman Murphy right behind it. Right next to the Ohio, the Nats are slugging in Cincinnati. 6-1 after 6. A little deeper into the Reds bullpen now, and the UPS store called to the bullpen for Wandy Peralta is brought to you by the UPS store, because if you need expert printing, they have you covered. Together, there's nothing we can't solve. Busiest Cincinnati pitcher leads the staff now with his 42nd appearance. 25-year-old lefty. 3.02 ERA. And just 27 hits in 42 innings. Bryce is 0 for 2 career against him, including 1 AB in this series. 7th inning underway with a strike. Harper now just 3 homers off the league lead. On the RBI front, 1 behind Nolan Arenado now for the National League top spot. Nolan has 73. Just guided beautifully to left. Now Bryce is thinking 2. DUVALL has 7 outfield assists on the year. That's a good throw, and Bryce Harper's out at second base. Harper talking about it there.
I think it's worth a chance. I always think that it's worth a chance. Hustling, you got to make a guy make a good play. He's got to get the ball fielded, get himself right, and make a good throw, and then a tag. And I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that now. It looks like he hit him in the chest. I didn't see it that clearly. Got him maybe a tick before he got there. Let's see here. No, I don't think so.
No, that's why the Nats are challenging.
I think he's there, Bob, but I've been wrong before on these things.
Well, we all have. Challenges are tricky things. It's got to be indisputable to be overturned.
Love the hustle, love the hustle, love the fact that he's trying to get to second base right out of the batter's box, going as hard as he can. A lot of things have to go right to throw a guy out.
There's the control center in New York City looking at, well, a lot of different things. This is the only ball game in progress in the major leagues until this evening. So some file footage for you as far as how things look in there and all the different monitors and apparatus they have.
Did he keep the glove on him? He looks like his left hand bounces off the bag. If he is there safely, that his right hand bounces off the bag, and then he gets there with his left hand. Was there any? I don't know. That's.
And another factor in this, the Reds are not televising today, so we are the only production crew out of Cincinnati today. So maybe fewer cameras and fewer looks, because in a ballpark, the visiting crew will come in and we'll be at positions with our cameras that the home crew isn't, and vice versa. They do have some side-by-side positions. So that took a while, and the call is out is Bryce Harper. So they couldn't see enough to overturn it. And for Adam Duvall, that'll be his league-leading 8th outfield assist of the year.
Sure looks like his hand hits there before he's tagged, but you just.
Next up, Ryan Zimmerman. So Bryce Harper 2 for 3 today with a walk. And when you're up by 5 and it's the top of the 7th on the road and you're trying to sweep, anybody with speed, I think, will make that choice Bryce did anytime.
You want to have the mindset that you want the next base. So you have to be running full tilt right out of the batter's box when you hit a ball that's what we used to call a 1 3/4. Yeah, I want my players to make aggressive mistakes. I mean, he's right out of that box going as hard as he can. Nice turn at first. Never changes his speed. He was going full tilt all the way. Nice little turn. Got himself in a direct line to second. Got there about as quickly as he can.
And Ryan Zimmerman all in on a 2-0 pitch, but it was off speed. He's hit 3 balls in the air today, 1 out of the yard for his franchise record 235th home run. So Ryan finally gets to that 20 home run mark. Last time he hit 20, 2013, when he went deep 26 times. He's just been all banged up for the last 3 years. And that's hard hit up the middle, and Ryan Zimmerman has a 2-hit day. Just too hot for COZART to get to. Murphy and Rendon now the next 2.
Well, Zim stings the ball. He hits the ball hard all the time. Here's a ground ball with overspin, but he got that extension by bringing his hands in and guiding the barrel to the ball. Just no place to go for COZART. A couple of steps and a dive, hoping that he comes up with it, and ball just hit too hot.
So the Nats 2 for 2 against Wandy Peralta, who throws a strike to Daniel Murphy. Murphy's 7-game hitting streak on the line here. He's walked and struck out twice today. The walk against the starter, Scott Feldman. 2 strikeouts against the reliever, Asher Wojciechowski. Ryan doesn't run a lot, but he runs well. He's 1 for 1 this year.
The Reds play more people right there behind second base. Seems like when they're in a pull situation, they have their shortstop straight behind the bag, and that is not something that I'm accustomed to seeing. If you're going to pull, you normally are on the pull side, with the third baseman taking up the room going toward shortstop from the 5.5 hole over there. But
and Murphy made an offer and then held up.
Bryce hit a ball night before last that was right up the middle, scorched, that the shortstop didn't have to move on. The ball hit the top of the bag and he just ran straight in and forced out. Actually, it was a double play.
1-2 with 1 out. Murphy verbalizing his effort to get out of the way there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Murphy uses left field a lot against left-handed pitchers. He seems to just kind of wait and see the ball as long as he can to take the ball the other way, let it get back to maybe the middle of the plate and take that top hand out of it so that he keeps the bat flat and laid off. A lot of times just serving the ball the opposite way.
Murphy to the right side. Ball had some top spin on it, and they go to short to get the lead runner. Well played by Jose Peraza. That keeps Zimmerman out of scoring position. Anthony Rendon is next, and Dan has more.
Bob, well, Dusty Baker wanted to see Anthony Rendon on the All-Star team last week. He noted earlier today that he thinks the break away from the game of baseball did Anthony some good. He's noted multiple times this season that nobody on his roster responds better to a day off than Rendon. The break last week gave his body some rest, allowed some nagging health issues to clear up, and he responded with a massive weekend, named NL Player of the Week. Really coming back nicely, whether it's 1 day off away from the game or 4 as he got last week. That break always seems to do some good for Anthony Rendon.
Well done, Dan, and of course he now is the Player of the Week. On the heels of going 7 for 11 in this series prior to today, with 3 walks, 3 homers, 9 RBIs. Now he's 8 for 12, and he's been on base, and this is amazing, in this series 13 times. Come on. And he's played great defense too. 2-0. And they've really given him nothing to hit today. 2 walks after he dropped one into left field on a bloop first time up.
It doesn't take long for a hitter to get a reputation being a guy that you better be very careful to, or he's going to dent a lot of walls. And Anthony always being a good hitter, but certainly coming to a different plateau this year.
2-0 pitch in there. Yeah, the official word from New York is they could not definitively see Bryce Harper safe on that slide into second. '89 diving on Anthony Rendon to even things up.
He has a hard slider and it breaks a long way, all the way across the plate.
2-2. He makes the adjustment and spits on that pitch. And that'll give Daniel Murphy a head start. Gary Thurman, the first base coach, checks in with Murph. Joey Votto still on the bag. Look out, Bob Henley.
Hey, you don't want to come in there on that boy. He'll get it out of there in a hurry. Now it's 3-2, and watch this ball. It is way inside, and he just throws ahead. Using that top hand, and sometimes the top hand comes off the bat, but it has already done its business. Uses it like throwing a hammer or an axe. Just fires it through the hitting zone.
Rendon, and he's going to get punched out. That's one of the few times you'll ever see him not able to check. Will Little rings him up. That's got a couple of hits, strand to runner. 7th inning stretch time. Steven Strasburg threw 6 innings, 88 pitches, 59 strikes. That one's inside to Adam Duvall, who has struck out swinging today and then hit into a 5-4-3 pitch saving double play back in the 4th. Strasburg has thrown 2 ground ball double plays today, 1 to each side. And got the hitter, it sounded like. And Adam Duvall's heading for first base. Heard a couple of sounds on that. Now we talk about Anthony Rendon checking a swing. You're going to see a batter striking out who didn't come close to going around.
His hands are so strong. There's just no way that you stop the bat barrel when you're starting a full-blown swing without it going to the front of the plate. And I always use the front of the plate as the barometer for me. That bat barrel never got anywhere near the front of the plate, as he has that uncanny ability to stop that bat.
Scooter Gennett Couple of balls on the infield. A foul ball to Ryan Zimmerman, then a grounder to Murphy. And he was way out ahead of that 88, starting early.
How nasty is his changeup? You're right. He's probably about 14 inches if you look at it from a side view out in front of that pitch.
And the 0-2.
Rare's back.
I just saw something I didn't like, and Mike Maddox came out of the dugout after throwing that pitch. Steven Strasburg was kind of shaking and flexing his right arm with a bend at the elbow, and Mike Maddox saw it too. He came out a couple of steps and then went back in the dugout.
He looked like a sprinter coming out of the blocks. Maddox did, but he stopped.
1-2 delivery. Swing and a miss on a fastball upstairs, and Steven comes out of that looking all right. First of all, 2 pitches ago.
Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? But then he didn't look anything wrong there.
Strikeout number 9. Last time Steven went double digits was against the Cubs June 28th at home when he fanned 13 of them. That gets some action in the Nats bullpen right away with Oliver Perez. Eugenio Suarez, the next hitter.
Bob, I was drafted as a pitcher, shortstop, did a lot of pitching, and as much force is coming off of the back leg as you set up over the mound, over the rubber, and you go to deliver the ball and you're doing it 90, 100 times, 105 times a day. Just think about what happens if you just get a little out of sync. Your rhythm is a little off. Your balance is a little off. I've had many times where I've had in my upper arm a little bit of twinge just on one pitch. And you say, well, I'm not sure what that is. And it ends up being nothing. And your elbow, a little bit of maybe sting. I've even had it in my wrist, throwing a fastball and trying to overthrow it on a four-seamer and have your wrist kind of pop just a little bit. And it's really just getting something out of sync. And as much as that, I mean, that's a lot of force coming at you right there. This is a big boy.
2 balls, 1 strike, and that is in there.
And when you think about everything in pitching is to generate force and velocity, but at some point that arm has to stop. And all of those muscles and tendons that go into that arm stopping, it's like putting on brakes with bad brakes.
That's a swing and a miss on a ball in the dirt, and there's a runner at first, so no need to throw or anything for Matt Wieters and Steven Strasburg. 10 strikeouts. So that's 35. Max Scherzer's in the 60s with his. These guys are amazing.
Wieters doing one of the things that makes him so special to this ball club. I mean, he's like another coach on the field. He pays attention, he does his work. When you talk, even the hitters, they talk about how much Wieters has meant to this pitching staff, and that's just a great example of picking a time, going out, and just checking with your pitcher and seeing what he is thinking.
Here's Scott Schebler, who's 1 for 2. First pitch changeup drifting away. .0. There's a foul ball. I want to take a moment to give our best wishes to Bob Wolf's family. We lost a legendary broadcaster at the age of 96 yesterday. He was the voice of the Senators from 1947 to 1960. Went to Minnesota with the team for a year before he came back to the East Coast and joined NBC TV in New York. A wonderful man. He turned over all of his broadcasting tapes and all of his memorabilia to the Library of Congress 4 years ago. Charlie Slows, Dave Jagler, and I had a chance to be there with Bob on that very special day. So with great memories and great sympathy and thoughts for his family, we celebrate the life of Bob Wolf. Our broadcast suite at Nationals Park is named after him. And just wanted you Nats fans to know, who heard Bob, you Washingtonians are those who didn't get to hear Bob Wolf. We've lost a great one of the all-time greats in broadcasting, and a Fort Frick winner enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Bob Wolf, we lost him yesterday at the age of 96. And he was so gracious to Charlie, Dave, and I. It was truly wonderful for us to get to spend an hour or two with him 4 years ago. 2 balls, 1 strike to Scott Schebler. Swinging strikeout, infield hit today. 3-1. Steven Strasburg has gone 7 innings or more 10 times this year. Coming off the short outing, of course, against the Braves on a day when they blew out the Nats and won 13-0. Strasburg only gave up 3 earned runs that day, but only pitched 3 innings. So we've got a shift in progress here, but Anthony Rendon still on the left side of the infield. It's brought to you from Fios by Verizon. Fios is not cable. We're wired differently. Go to getfios.com. And Murphy in right field. It's about where he was playing Joey Votto earlier. Strasburg maybe 1 pitch away from getting his day done. 3-2 here in the 7th with 2 outs. Runner on the move. Swing and a miss. If that's it, he'll strike out his last 3 hitters, all swinging, and 11 on the day. Hey, the offense has been great, but in Cincinnati, the starters have been fantastic. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Not a big crowd in Cincinnati today, 17,574. The Nationals looking to sweep 4. And Strasburg visiting with Mike Maddox. The good news is Steven appears to be okay, Ray, and they're just talking pitching after 7 innings.
You know, he has that tendency to spasm and cramp up a little bit. I just wondered if when he did flex his wrist, was it just a little tight more in the forearm than anywhere else.
25-year-old Michael Lorenzen is the 4th Cincinnati pitcher of the day. Nats roughed him up big time Saturday. He pitched a 1/3 of an inning and gave up 6 runs on 4 hits and 2 walks. Waiters, RABURN, and we expect a pinch hitter. Strasburg's at that 105 mark, Ray, that you always talk about. A good total for 7 innings, 15 pitches per.
Perfect spot to be in. You know, when you in a situation like we are, when you have a nice lead, there's just no reason to push a guy, because you save those bullets as much as you can. Now, I mean, you don't start taking them out in the 5th inning, but you throw 105 pitches in 7 innings, that's perfect.
And as we mentioned, Joe Blanton's been very good lately. He appears to be next. 3-1, and Wieters drives it the other way, foul. So Strasburg's line, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run on the Suarez 2nd inning homer. Walked 1, struck out 11. So this year, Steven Strasburg has now struck out 139 batters and walked just 34. And that's in 19 starts, covering 120 innings. And Wieters looking to guide one down that way for a hit. There's our 3 o'clock reset. Ray Knight with us for this 4-game series. Bob Carpenter, Dan Coco, FP Santangelo joins us in Anaheim tomorrow night to see Edwin Jackson return to the big leagues and take on the Angels. This one's playable, it appears, for the left fielder, Adam Duvall. 1 out, top of the 8th.
Seen a kind of a coming out with Steven over the last 2 years. You know, he used to finish his outing, go to the corner, not really talk to anybody. How about this? He's sitting in there talking to his pitching coach after a great outing. They're talking about things like the pitch that you threw to Votto in that 3rd inning, or I thought your changeup was outstanding today. You see, when you throw the changeup and followed up with a fastball tight, you're so much more effective than going away with the fastball after a changeup. Just things like that. And you know, this is where you have everything fresh in your mind. You can remember everything that happens. Like right there, he's looking like he's talking about maybe turning off the ball with his head. Yeah, hitters turn off the ball with their head, as do pitchers.
And this is interesting because Steven's doing most of the talking.
Yeah.
And throughout his career, he's been so reserved. We have seen him mature amazingly over the last 2 to 3 years. Signed the long-term contract last year. Getting some good hacks here is Ryan RABURN in the number 8 spot. He's 1 for 3 with a triple, and he lined out to shortstop last time up. Adam Lind, by the way, waiting to hit here in the 8th. On the front door, that's a foul tip caught by Barnhart. 2 outs. Road to October goes through Nationals Park because the Brewers and the Rockies have postseason aspirations, and they will be in Nationals Park for the next homestand. It's a National League showdown. Visit nationals.com/tickets today. And I know you're sitting at home, some of you saying, wait a minute, what about the Dodgers? Well, we won't see the Dodgers at Nationals Park until September 15, 16, and 17. Quite a weekend that will be. That's already took 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium. And that'll be some kind of series in September. Where will the teams be by then? The way the Dodgers are playing, they might already have clinched, and the Nats could be on the verge. They've won 9 in a row, and they're 35 games over 500.
They've won, I think it was 19 out of their last 24 or something, some crazy number.
They have made a shambles of the West. And you look at that and say, well, Arizona, Colorado have no chance, but they're the 2 leading teams in the league for the wild card. Even though the Diamondbacks, just swept by the Braves, have lost 5 in a row. So there's going to be some slugging on that next homestand with our Nats, and then Milwaukee followed by Colorado. Here's a guy who's been doing a lot of slugging, Adam Lind. 10 for 28, 3 homers as a pinch hitter. And he's got himself another knock. 40th hit of the year in 126 at bats.
Think he can hit?
He can absolutely rake. And the Nats are into double digits on the day with 10 hits. They've done that 3 of these 4 games, and when they didn't do it Friday, they had 9.
It's been some kind of impressive offensive series. How about the year for this National Ball Club offensively? First in batting average, first in on-base percentage, first in slugging, first in OPS, first in hits, first in runs, first in doubles, first in extra base hits. I mean, this is for real now. This isn't something that happens in a month or in spring training. You're looking at 3.5 months of play, and they've been able to sustain an unreal level of efficiency.
0-1. Brian Goodwin has turned this into a very good day with a home run last time up after doubling and scoring in that 5-run first. I mean, Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy, Rendon, 3 through 6, and then Pop at the bottom with Wieters and RABURN. Michael A. Taylor when he's healthy. I just didn't think this was going to happen to this degree, Ray, with Taylor and then Turner getting hurt, but they keep raking.
Nor did I. We were talking about, well, where's all the offense going to come from? From people like this. Brian Goodwin. Fastball down and in, laces it to right center field in that 6th inning after he led off with a double to start the game off and ignite that 5-run first.
That ball pretty well hit. The Nats have stranded 7 today, but they lead 6-1, 6 outs to get.
Steven, 11 punch outs on the day. We're going to go right through them here. A fastball in that 1st inning to get COZART. Then Adam Duvall on a changeup. Tucker Barnhart on the SCHEBLER on the fastball. Then the fastball in. Then the changeup there to Barnhart. And he comes back and gets a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. Juice upstairs. Changeup down. He used them all. Fastball away. So 11 punch outs, and his pitching coach telling him, hey, looks like you had a little hump on that ball today.
Inside the Numbers brought to you by PNC Bank. Yeah, so connect these 4, huh? Look at the earned runs in this series. Tanner Roark gave up 3 yesterday, but only 1 earned. And then Strasburg today, 1 run. Amazing.
It truly is amazing when you see these guys start to pitch the way they all four can pitch, and certainly Scherzer and Strauss have been on time all year long, as has Gio. Now you're getting Roark righted at the correct time.
Joe Blanton. He has really turned his season around here. Last 8 games, the ERA 0, 6 1/3, only 3 hits, 4 strikeouts.
It's going to be the ace in the hole, I think, for our ball club. I do. I talked to Mike Rizzo about him early in the year, talked to him about him 2 or 3 weeks ago. Guy knows how to pitch, and he has had a rough year early, but he does it with location change of speeds. The sinker is excellent, nice, tight curveball, slurvish pitch, all the experience in the world. Pretty good pitch there.
Man, I'll correct myself. I had an inning yesterday where Roark gave up a walk and 2 hits, but because of an error, it became an unearned run. So even stingier, the starters in this series.
So 1 run total, right?
Yeah, 1 earned run total by 4 guys. Unbelievable. Jesse Winker has a base hit and 3 walks in the series as he pinch hits here in the 8th for Lorenzen.
Yeah, when you're giving up 1 and you're averaging at about 7, I mean,
makes the game pretty simple, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To the edge, 3-2.
See how much movement he has on that? I don't even know what that was. I guess it was a changeup, 85, but he throws his fastball sometimes at 80, 86 to 90. I mean, he moves that fastball with more emphasis on movement than velocity.
And it was over the plate, but he missed high. Reds have a runner with 1 out here in the 8th. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. He's at AA, and 24-year-old Jose Marmolejos is just under 290. On base percentage is good. Extra base hits, driving him in, scoring, and a perfect day against those flying squirrels in Richmond yesterday. On the edge for a strike. The feeling is that Mike Rizzo pulled off quite a deal yesterday and didn't even come close to gutting any part of the young talent to do that. And then on top of that, and the Nats are taking on some salary here, which is worthy to note. But Ray, they're not renting 2 pitchers for a couple of months. They're going to have Madsen and Doolittle all of next year, and then one of them for a year or 2 after that. It's pretty impressive.
It's real impressive.
If you have an ownership group that'll take on the salaries, and that's what the Lerners have done to make that all happen. This one out of play to the right as well.
I think it's a pretty simple thing, man. You look at our ball club all year long, and offense has been there, the starting pitching has been there, the defense has been there, and you say, golly, this is a championship caliber ball club. And then you get in that 7th inning, no matter what the score is, nobody felt good about it. So
comfortable, yeah.
So you end up acquiring 2 guys that are going to be here for at least a year or 2, and all of a sudden a bullpen that seemed like it was in shambles and had no real structure, all of a sudden has structure, and Dusty's going to be able to put people right where he wants and believe in them, because I tell you, that competition, it makes people better, or you lose them. You lose them because they can't compete.
This ball's playable. Right side, Murphy stepping out, letting Harper know he's there, and Bryce peels off at the last moment. 2 down. Zach COZART for the Reds, trying to keep this inning alive to get it to Joey Votto.
looking at my scorecard, there hasn't been a runner to reach second base today, except Suarez, who touched it on the home run. Everybody else to 3 singles. Got a couple of double plays, one in the first, one in the fourth, and then the single in the fifth with 2 outs by Schebler. He struck out Barnhart on that changeup, so there wasn't any action on the base paths.
Zach COZART could not believe that was a strike. Blanton kept that slider in the zone for a while. He has the hitter reaching, a pop up, and Murphy's under this one. So another good inning as Joe Blanton continues his resurgence to the ninth. 6-1. Nationals baseball on MASN, brought to you by American Standard Heating and Air. Go to MidAtlanticComfort.com for special offers and to find a dealer near you. And by the Lexus RX, featuring a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection. Standard. Everybody's swinging well in Cincinnati this weekend, especially the visiting team. 6 runs on 10 hits today. Potomac Nationals back in action at home. They'll get back at it on Thursday through the 23rd against Lynchburg. The Prince William County on-field jersey auction dating back to 1989 is Friday. Mighty Ducks Day Saturday. Check it out, PotomacNationals.com, 703-590-2311. Raisel Iglesias, the Reds closer, who is 16 out of 17 in saves, makes his second appearance of the series. Rendon and Wieters had base hits against him in the 9th inning, but he threw a scoreless frame here in that 10-7 game on Saturday.
Did you notice what right-handed hitters are hitting off of him? 107.
Well, and a lot of talk around the Nats that because Mike Rizzo, the backing of ownership, able to engineer that deal yesterday, still may have enough resources left now to go after a closer, a true closer. We'll see how that all works out. Yesterday was a wonderful step forward, and we'll see how far the Nats can take it. Matt Grace for the bottom of the 9th, who saved the first 2 games of this series. Friday night on 1 pitch. Hacked by Drew, who's 1 for 4 today, and Steven 3 for 13 in the series.
It's amazing how this game of baseball kind of evolves with players also. Matt Grace was used mainly in the 6th inning, 7th inning, and now we're starting to see him in the last inning frequently. Albeit we've got a big lead, but still. 1-0
1-0 way inside.
Was it you, Bob, that told me the other night he didn't realize he had a save and threw the ball?
Threw the ball in the seats after his first career save. How do you get a save in a 5-0 game? Well, the pitcher before you gives up a couple of hits and gets the bases loaded, and you come in with a tying run in the on-deck circle, and you get 3 outs. In essence, it's the same as starting the 9th inning and getting them in a safe situation. And that's what Matt did.
I mean,
and it happened on 1 pitch. Then he got a save the next night, and I'm assuming he kept that ball.
Well, I would have taken my uniform up there and said, hey, I give you his uniform for that ball.
Yeah, whatever. Name it.
But he didn't realize until he was in the locker room.
Drew drives one to the gap in left center, but it's tailing back to DUVALL. Adam was playing way off the line to grab that one. Another good at bat by Stephen Drew. Joe Gonzalez uncorked for a cause fundraiser. It's a release party for his own 2014 Sonoma Reserve red wine. That's happening next week, Thursday, and that's at the Teddy and Bully Bar in DC Northwest, 7 to 9 p.m. Proceeds benefit the Dream Foundation and Hialeah Baseball down in Florida, Gio's alma mater. So get online, check it out, make a contribution, be a sponsor. Here's Bryce. 1 for 2 career with an RBI against Raisel Iglesias.
When I see Bryce swing, I think of Willie Stargell.
Wow.
And what was once said about Willie is that he went up to the plate with bad intentions. And Bryce, he's up there with bad intentions, I guarantee you.
Look out. He had Gary Thurman ducking on that one. Top of the 9th. Dusty Baker would like this to be as quiet as it is right now for the rest of this inning. 0-2. Harper all over it. Bryce hasn't taken any time off like Zimmerman and Murphy did coming out of the All-Star break, but he's looked totally into it this series. No fatigue. They want this one upstairs, and Harper will strike out. 2 down. Ryan Zimmerman at 2 for 4 day. First inning, franchise record-setting home run, and then a base hit, hard hit up the middle in the 7th. 1 for 6 career against Iglesias with a run batted in.
Before he's finished, he's gonna own all the records.
It's Ryan's 12th full year in the big leagues. He was a September call-up in 05. In the spring, he was playing college ball. In the summer, he was a minor leaguer. In September, he was a major leaguer and never looked back.
And if you look at his game logs, he's missed almost 2 seasons in injuries.
And now he's going to have a 3 for 5 day. He'd like to get back in that batting race. Not that he's out of it.
He's going back up the middle. That's 2 right back up the middle. Home plate pretty firm. Gets the overspin, and the first bounce comes out of there very hard, very fast. That's when you know he's swinging well, is when he's hitting it up the middle into right center.
Started the day hitting .322, fourth in the league, and he's at .327 now. Daniel Murphy has a rare offer. Last chance to extend that hitting streak to 8 games. That's Ryan Zimmerman's 11th 3-hit game of the year. Off speed, 2-0. Chase is on for that foul ball. 2-1.
It's hard for me to imagine the Reds getting rid of an arm like this. They have him under control, I think. Somebody told me for the next 4 years. Throwing 99, and I mean, those strikes, has an idea, changes speeds occasionally, but changes arm angles often. Keeps the ball down.
27 years of age. Two to Murphy, waging a battle here until he gets something that he can hit hard somewhere. And Daniel Murphy, for the first time this year, strikes out 3 times in a game. Never happened as a Nat. It's been 3 years since it's happened at all. Nats, 1-4-0 Reds. Ryan Zimmerman, record-setting home run back in the first, and then Bryce would add a 3-run shot. At least that happened right before Zimmerman's. And the Nats, 61 runs now in 7 games, trying to go 6-1 against Cincinnati this year. Nats Extra Post-Game Show. Byron Kerr, Phil Wood. We've kept those guys busy with highlights all weekend. That's presented by W.B. Mason. When this game's over, 3 outs to get for Matt Grace for the Nats to head to Orange County and take on the Angels with tons of momentum. It'll be his 21st appearance. And 2 saves, as I mentioned, Friday and Saturday in this series. He'll face Joey Votto, who's 0 for 2 career against him with a base on balls. And the first pitch hook is upstairs. that one in the zone. 1-1. And 3 hooks in a row. Saw Matt Albers out there raising the possibility of this being a 1-batter appearance by Matt Grace, up by 5 runs.
I don't blame him at all, because after Votto you have Duvall, GENNETT, and Suarez, so 2 out of the 3 next hitters are right-handed.
And maybe all those breaking balls set up Joey Votto to not be ready for the heater. 1 out. And maybe with Votto being retired, Grace now gets the chance to finish.
That is just beautiful pitching. Look, he threw all 3 of those pitches that were strikes the same spot, like he's shooting a rifle, down and away, and then showed 2 pitches up in the strike zone and then went back down.
Ground ball left side, gobbled up by Anthony Rendon, and the Nats are 1 out away from their first 4-game sweep of this season. Last time they did it, April of 16 against Atlanta. And the final hope for Cincinnati will be Scooter Gennett, Edwin Jackson, and Jesse Chavez. Nats Extra 9:30 tomorrow night as the Nats take on the Angels in Anaheim for the first time since 6 years ago, when Davey Johnson was named the manager of the ball club. Here's Scooter Gennett, 0 for 3. And that breaking ball way outside. No swing, 2-0. Hey, Ray, again, it's been great having you with us for the last 4 games. Glad you had a chance to come back and see a lot of old friends in Cincinnati, and continued great work in the studio with Johnny starting tomorrow night.
Well, man, it's been a joy. Great to watch this ball club play. There's so many things offensively, but yet the starting pitching just as impressive. The good news with the bullpen, the acquisition, so I'll be headed home a happy camper. Get to see my buddy Johnny tomorrow night and wish the team the best on remaining this road trip, and I appreciate everything you do for me, buddy.
All right.
And thank all the guys down there in the truck, and it's been a fun little trip back up here.
Yeah, you picked a decent weekend to do 4 games.
Picked the weekend they're hitting.
And pitching.
And pitching.
So the Nats trying to win their 5th in a row and trying to visit 20 games over 500 for the first time this year. 2 balls and a strike on Scooter Gennett after his bat came apart, and that's strike 2 on the foul.
Yeah, Matt has really settled in. You see everything that he throws is somewhere around the plate now. When he first got up here, he was having trouble with control, like seemingly everybody has had at some point this year.
Bouncer to short. Stephen Drew. The Nats sweep in Cincinnati. First time they've ever swept the Cincinnati Reds in a 4-game set. And the Nats will fly high to Southern California tonight, 20 over. Right now, 10 up on Atlanta. They open a series against the Cubs. For Ray Knight and Dan Coco, Bob Carpenter, the final, Washington 6, Cincinnati 1. Join us tomorrow night on Masson 2. We continue the road trip against the Angels. Pre-game begins at 9:30. This has been a presentation of Masson. Stay tuned now. Byron and Phil in the studio, and a big-time appearance from Ray Knight as well. From Cincinnati, it's a sweep. See you later.